What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Look, man, it's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting week based off of how Ravens looked this past weekend. But hey, we here. Got to try and move past it. I got some things I think where we went wrong. It was more than just the Derrick Henry fumble. It was more than just one or two plays or one or two drives. I think it was a lot more than that. But I'm going to talk about five particular plays I think were the turning points for the game. And even then, with all of it, one of the particular plays, the Ravens had a chance to ice the game, and we kind of missed out on the opportunity. But I'm going to give you guys probably a minute or so to come in here. And then once we get a few people in here, if you guys are checking in for the first time, please let me know where you're checking in from. Your state is fine. You don't have to give me your city. You don't have to give me your neighborhood or nothing like that. But I just want to know who's out there. If you guys are here for the first time, also don't be afraid to like, share, comment, subscribe. Coach, I can hear you. I can't hear you. I can't see your slides or I can't read your slides. None of that stuff hurts my feelings. But just let me know if you're actually receiving what I'm talking about and you can see me and whatnot. So, so before we get started, look, I just want to thank you guys for all the support that you've given me up until this point and what you will continue to give me in the future. I would like to bring some all 22 on my channel. However, I know people have been getting copyrighted for that, and I just don't want to do it. But I'll try and explain the plays as best I can. I do a review of the all 22, and then I'll basically talk about it from my standpoint and my perspective, and kind of give you guys some of the insights of what I would have done if I was put in that particular situation. So, but that's neither here nor there. So, all right, we got enough of you guys in here. I think it's 10 of y'all right now. So, first things first, our Baltimore Ravens went up to Buffalo. We were talking about a revenge game, having revenge on our mind. We just thought the Ravens was going to go in there and steamroll the Baltimore Bills. I'm sorry, the Buffalo Bills. We just thought, hey, we had it in the bag when it came down to, I'm going to say all of us, some of us thought, hey, there's no way this Buffalo Bills team could match up with us and whatnot. And that seemed early on in the game to be true. They had no answer for some of the things we were doing. They couldn't adjust to some of the stuff we were throwing at them. Even with the defense not having their feet underneath them, at times we still were basically up by two touchdowns for a good part of the game and whatnot. But as we always say, the NFL stands for not for long, and not for long that could be subjected to anything. In this particular case, it was the lead. So football again is one of those games of momentum, right? And then when you get your opportunities and your chances, you have to capitalize on them. And I just felt like at times we were kind of lackadaisical, particularly between the second and third quarter. We were really, really lackadaisical as a team. Even though we was putting points up on the board, there were certain things I just did not like when it comes down to, hey, a guy getting a screen pass and running 50 yards additionally. I did not like that. Like the Ravens shouldn't be giving that type of play up. And it wasn't like he ran everybody over. Dude was zipping in and out of tackles, and most of the tackles were arm tackles. We had back angles on them at first, and then we just let him get out of the backyard. Once we get out of the backyard, we all know, hey, James Cook is a pretty shifty guy. So once he gets going, it could be curtains for a lot of people on the defensive side of the ball. But those type of things come back to haunt you later on when you give up an easy touchdown, when you give up a short field. One of the particular plays that's in here was Tyler Luke not kicking the ball in the landing zone. You give a team a 60-yard field, 20 yards, I'm already in scoring range. I'm already in field goal range, at least, right? And I just felt like those type of plays are the ones that came back and snake bit the Ravens in the butt. Now, it's a total effort. I'm not going to take anything away from it. I know some people were saying, hey, look, we want Harbaugh gone this particular weekend. We don't want to see him there when we go to the bank. Hey, that's your opinion. It is what it is. I'm not going to comment on what I think. Hey, this particular coach should be, or he should be on the team, or he shouldn't be on the team. I don't want to bring that over here because it's enough negative energy out there. I'm not going to subscribe to some of it. Now, I will say if he's gone, he's gone. If he's there, he's there. It does not bother me. I just would like to see the adjustments. I would like to see somebody say, "Hey, enough is enough," and say that publicly. Show your frustration because right now it doesn't look like we are. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to the Baltimore Ravens that these collapses keep happening because right now it's the same type of messaging. Hey, we're not gonna put no blame on nobody. I'm not gonna take no accountability. I'm gonna just get out here and give you this press conference, and that's pretty much it. And then we're gonna kind of move on to Cleveland. Okay, cool. That's fine. You did that, but we need to basically see that particular product that we're sitting here saying what it is. It needs to come on the field to where we can close out games. We can blow people out. It was, man. It felt so refreshing. What was it? 2019. Yeah, 2019. Lamar Jackson didn't play a lot of fourth quarter games, right? Felt so good. Even 2023, didn't play a lot of fourth quarters, right? I would love to get back to that, right? I thought this was going to be one of those instances to where, hey, it was like, all right, Lamar, you get one four-quarter drive, and then that's pretty much it. All right, you can go ahead, chill out, and wait for Cleveland next week. But that wasn't the case. So we had a couple of injuries, not too much. Kyle Hamilton went out for a little bit, had a hand injury, came back in, he's fine. Our boy Isaiah Likely is progressing really, really good. If you guys are up on Twitter, you've seen his little workout videos. That ankle looked like it's holding up pretty good. I hope the Ravens don't rush him back. Again, I was telling some people that I was talking with, hey, look, if we bring him back the game before the bye, I'm okay with that. I don't want to rush him back if he's not 100% ready to go or as close to 100% as he can be. Because, again, I don't want to run the risk of re-injuring him. Same thing with Patrick Ricard. I have no update on Patrick Ricard. He was a scratch. But we would like to see, hey, is he healthy? Are we going to have him for the Cleveland game? Because I will tell you, blocking was really, really bad at times. And I'm not sitting here saying two people help dictate the rest of the flow of the game. But at certain parts of the game, at certain plays, these are the guys that would get those particular blocks. And I'm going to talk about those 5 plays. So the 5 plays for me, obviously some people want to talk about the Justice Hill fumble, even though he recovered it back. People want to talk about the Derrick Henry fumble. People want to say about the 4th and 2 tip pass where Buffalo scored a touchdown. I'm not going to talk about either one of those. I think those could be, one of the 5 plays that kind of swung the game. For me, first one, in the second quarter, it was a tip pass to Bateman on the right side as the Ravens are going down. It was a swing motion across Lamar's Lamar's left. We had leverage. If he just dumps it there, and then I got it, this may not be part of the play, but I would love if we could see that to where, hey, nobody went with the motion. I know they pointed towards it. The Bills linebacker pointed towards it, but nobody adjusted. So at that instance, we had 3 on 4 over there. We have our 4 against their 3. And I believe the first 2 guys would have held their block enough to let Justice Hill catch the pass and probably get into the red zone. That didn't happen. We knew what happened after that. Hey, the fumble happened on the handoff. We lost yardage. Then we threw another incomplete pass, and then that was it. We ended up kicking a field goal. If we get a touchdown in that particular instance, instead of good 20 points, we would then have 24-10. It will be 24-10, provided that we get the actual the extra point. It'll be 24-10. Now that particular field goal that they got at the end of the half or before the end of the half is not as bad, right? But that's neither here nor there. I just would like to see that, hey, if we see that particular thing, we need to go back to it and really capitalize off of it. In fact, we did capitalize off of that play. I just would like we do it again or do it early on. That same play, that same type of play was a swing pass to Zay Flowers, and he scored off of it. He scored off to the going around the left side of the offense. He actually scored on a swing pass. We basically dumped it off to him, and then he did whatever he needed to do to get into the end zone. So that was the first play, I think, where this game started to shape shift, right? Because again, we took points off the board, or we took a potential touchdown off the board from us. And I just feel like, hey, again, not settling for the field goals. I believe that's the thing we can't fall in love with, because we start falling in love with field goals. This is where we allow teams to hang around. And we allow teams to hang around. We all know how that goes for the Baltimore Ravens. So my next play was Jaire Alexander. This was the quote unquote prevent defense that the Ravens called. This was 2 plays before the last play, before they got the 1 second. So that second play, it appears the Baltimore Ravens had a 3-high shell. Jaire Alexander didn't have anybody in his low third or his third or whatever he had. His responsibility probably was curl flats or whatever it may be. He had no one in that particular area, right? And instead of him going closer towards the hash where the receivers were coming from, he kind of just stayed there, and it gave Josh Allen enough time to see that, as they basically it's just like a dig route. He got it. He got across the field, got to, in the middle of the hashes, and kept going, kept progressing. Jaire Alexander, if he sees that, he can either undercut it or knock it out of the way. He sees it too late. Josh Allen fires it, and then bam, there you go. It gets into the hole. Even though there's a collision, there's not enough collision to draw the ball out or deflect the pass or whatever. So he kind of fell asleep on that, and that allowed them to get the next play off, or that allowed them to spike the ball and then now get for the next play. The next play, the third play, was the we didn't rush anybody. We didn't rush anybody on this last particular play, and I have no idea why we didn't rush anyone. It appears like we stayed in the 3-high shell. We put 3 guys on the right side, basically the field side, which is the biggest part of the field. We put 3 guys on the sideline, basically on the sideline right there. And we didn't. I don't understand what the point was of putting those guys there if they wasn't going to come out, spread out, and basically conduct like a spider web, if you will. So if it was me, the structure of it was probably okay, but you need to basically spread those 3 guys out. So I would have stacked them 5 yards, 5 to 7 yards behind one another, and then we're going to face inward. And we're going to face inward. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to deny the sideline at every possible level when those guys flow back over here. Because basically they put all their receivers on one side and they had them flow to the other. They put them on the right side, basically in like trips or whatnot, and then they flowed them all the way across the field. The difference was they got behind those 3 guys. They got behind those 3 guys, and then now it's one-on-one with the tight end. The tight end shouldn't be running across the field wide open at all at any time without somebody right there in the catch technique and running him out of bounds, or even getting him down as soon as he catch the ball. He got enough time to catch the ball, take a couple steps, and get out of bounds. That should have never been the case with those 3 guys, because those 3 guys, that should have been their particular responsibility. And if those guys aren't doing their particular responsibility, then one or 2 things is wrong. There's a flaw in that particular play call, or the execution was bad. For me, I think the execution was bad, but the players, because even if you call that, situational awareness has to be on top tier in that particular moment, because we know, hey, we don't want to give up points. All we got to do is last to the clock, getting triple zeros, and then get whoever it is that got the ball in their hands on the ground. That is it. That's all we have to do. However, the Ravens didn't do it, fell asleep on it. We allowed them to get down in bounds or whatnot. We allowed them to get out of bounds, I'm sorry. Whether the 1 second or there was no seconds on the clock or whatever it may be, look, that's neither here nor there. They can review that as an organization and send it into the NFL or whatever it may be. At the end of the day, is what was called. And what was called should have been executed to where the Ravens didn't give up any points back before the end of the first half. And I just felt like that, again, that was one of those confidence builders. Hey, we only down by a score. We're going into the end, going into the halftime. We were down by 10 points. A 2 scores. Now we're only down by 1. Cool. We back in this thing. We back in the game. That's the mentality of the Buffalo Bill players. If they didn't think they were going to stay in the game, they right then and there, once they hit that field goal, they knew, hey, look, all right, we got a chance. We got a chance. And long as the Ravens kept giving them chances, they were never going to go away. They were never going to just, all right, pack it in. All right, man, we lost this one. It is what it is. They never had that mentality because the Ravens kept giving them opportunities. The next opportunity came in the third quarter. I believe the Ravens scored a touchdown. And then, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, yes, the Ravens scored a touchdown coming out of it. And then we turned around and gave them a short field with the Tyler Luke landing zone penalty. If you guys don't know, when the kickoffs happen, right, they got a certain landing zone that they have to land in. If they don't land in that particular landing zone, then you automatically bring the ball to the 40-yard line. The 40-yard line is pretty significant, especially if you don't normally get that type of return. So now, again, like I told you guys in the beginning of the video, 2 plays, you're already within scoring distance with a good kicker, right? And if you get one big play, a 30-yard play, you dang near in the red zone. So again, that's one of those things that we're giving up. We're giving them touchdowns to allow them to stay within striking distance, right? And then what did what did the Buffalo Bills do after that? They get points off of that particular short field. They get a touchdown, right? And then in the fourth quarter, this is where we miss Patrick Ricard and Isaiah Likely. They are willing blockers. They don't. You don't have to tell them to block. If the play is designed for them to block somebody, they're going to go do that without any kind of, hey, look, I got to force you to do that. Mark Andrews in this particular instance, and it was 2 more people that was out there. I got to look back at the all 22, but it was 2 people. They basically gave him nowhere to go. They basically gave Zay Flowers nowhere to go. If we seal that first guy with Mark Andrews, I think it was Matt Milano. If we seal him or chip him and allow Zay to kind of throttle down and cut underneath him, that's 2 or 3 more yards. We get 2 or 3 more yards, and then we get that DeAndre Hopkins 6-yard completion. That is a 4th and 1 instead of a 4th and 3. I know for a fact if Lamar Jackson cramping or whatever, 4th and 1 looks a whole lot better than a 4th and 3 and almost 4th and 4 with Lamar Jackson cramping no matter what. I just believe, again, those type of plays are where we went wrong when it came down to the Baltimore Ravens trying to put this game away. Had we got that first down, now this game looks a whole lot different. The Bills have to use their timeouts. And then now the Ravens are basically saying, hey, look, all right, if you do get the ball back, you're going to get it back with seconds instead of getting it back with dang near 2 minutes on the clock. And I just felt like, again, from that point on, we just did not want to clamp down or whatever it may be. And I just felt like, hey, we kind of went very, very conservative and vanilla on the defensive side once they got the ball back. And I just felt like, hey, the Ravens themselves were kind of out of it. Like, hey, look, we just lost the game. We gave them the ball back with less than 2 minutes to go. We don't think we can stop them. And rightfully so, because whether it was no pass rush, whether it was lackadaisical pass coverage, the Ravens just in the fourth quarter imploded. It was just like, all right, man, here y'all go, cool. Because if you think about it, right, the Ravens was winning the game 20-10 at the half. That means the Ravens gave up 31 points in the second half. That can't happen. I don't care how you play football, that cannot happen. Because people told me in this particular game, the adjustments is what's going to close out the particular game. And I just felt like whatever we went and adjusted to was worse than what we were doing at first. And again, that's a coaching issue. I believe the coaches got to be better when their calls happen and their execution goes on. Because if we're not better, teams are going to capitalize off of what the Ravens are doing. If you want to play vanilla defense, if you don't want to send pass rushers, you want to hold out pass rushers until the third or fourth quarter, I don't get that. I just do not like. I think Mike Green only played like 24 pass rushing snaps or something like that. That's crazy because, again, to some people, Mike Green was the best pass rusher in the draft. I got it. You got to have dual Carter and whatnot, but some people believe, hey, had Mike Green not have been in his particular troubles, or had Mike Green played at Ohio State or a bigger school rather than Marshall, he probably would have been the perennial pass rusher in this particular draft, but it wasn't. But he wasn't. So if you got this type of player at your disposal, why not utilize him in every particular facet and give yourself the best opportunity? Then against Kyle Van Noy, I'm not taking anything away from him. Then against Odafe Owe, I don't think those guys are anywhere near pass rush technique and particular fundamentals as a Mike Green. I just believe that we got to put this guy on the field and give him as many pass rushing snaps as we possibly can. Because if we don't, we are basically going to stunt his development, stunt his confidence, and then now, guess what? It may take 2 more years for this guy to fully maximize his potential. So again, I feel like, hey, what do you have? Please utilize what you have, and then go from there. So, but let me go ahead and bring up my slides here. We kind of talked about the game. The game really doesn't matter too much to me. But as you guys see, like we had this game in hand, right? We had this game in hand, but stuff happens, lost the turnover battle or whatnot. Turnover battle, it wasn't too bad. It was 1-0. But time of possession, man, we gave them way, way, way too much time with the ball, and most of this was in the fourth quarter. That's when they really started to get really crazy. But the 389 passing yards is just absurd to me. Like, I don't get it how we don't adjust to where it's like, hey, look, all right, man, they're only going to beat us in the pass. Or if we want them to transition to running, hey, we got to basically cover better. If we cover better, I believe that the Ravens now can basically close this game out. But since we didn't cover better, it bit us in the butt, right? Bit us in the butt. The other part about this is a real kicker right here. This right here is eye-opening. The red zone attempts, right? Getting in the red zone and again settling for field goals is not good, because again, as you see, this team got in the red zone 7 times. We only got in the red zone 3 times. That's an issue, right? That's an issue. That's why when we get into the red zone, we got to show up with our best possible plays, and we got to execute, get the ball in our playmakers' hands in the red zone. We have to. We got to stop trying to be cute, and we got to execute. Like to the point to where it's like, hey, we feel like, hey, we got to have this touchdown, because we don't know when points. Because look, getting field goals is cool, but when points or you don't know where your next points are coming from, that's when it bites you in the butt. Because if you give up 2 touchdowns to this team, they got 2 red zone attempts, and they get 2 touchdowns off of it. You go to the red zone 3 times, you get three field goals. You're not even in the game at all. You're still losing. So again, I got the idea of the field goals and whatnot, but I just don't like when we settling for it, knowing darn well like we're trying to put this game away. We are trying to get up by as many points as we can possibly be, and then go from there. Does that mean, hey, I want you to go for it on the 4th down or 2 close to the red zone? Absolutely. I do want you to roll the dice. I'm to the point to where it's like, hey, if it's going to mean, hey, we're going to get a touchdown instead of go for a field goal, absolutely. Why not? Why not gamble with one of those? Because again, what would be the difference if, hey, I go for it on the, let's say, the 26-yard line, and I don't get it? Guess what? That's a kickoff. That's a kickoff return to the 26. The 26-yard line is better than the 40-yard line to start their offense. So again, I can see it playing out both ways, but we got to be willing to do that and not just say, hey, okay, look, we're going to take the field goal and we're going to say we're good with the points, right? So the next game that we have coming up, it will be against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, we got to make sure we come out and do what we're supposed to do when it comes down to having these guys confidence shot. We can't give Joe Flacco any confidence. We can't give the Cleveland Browns defense any kind of confidence. Some of their players have already been posting up when they tackle Derrick Henry and whatnot. So again, those guys are looking for to get some kind of confidence. And if we give them any kind of confidence, especially if we give up 300 yards passing against the Cleveland Browns, hey, look, I know Harbaugh's seat is hot. Zach Orr's seat's going to start getting hot too. Because, again, if you look at the Cleveland Browns, there's no way we should give up 300 yards passing to them. There's absolutely no way. with their offensive line issues, with their lack of the run game, their quarterback carousel that's going on. There's no way we should give up. A lot of red zone touchdowns, a lot of passing yards. There's no way we should give it up. And if we do, again, like I said, some people's seats got to start getting hot, or the media outrage got to go towards some other people too, instead of just John Harbaugh. Because again, defensively, there's no way we have what we have structure wise, and we give up what we give up. There's all pros at every level, almost every level. Like if you want to throw Matt BK in there, matter of fact, I think he made All Pro one time. If you throw him in there, look, man, we got All Pros at every level of the defense, and some of the levels of the defense is multiple, right? So again, we got to make sure those guys come to play. I don't know if you look at yourself in the mirror, you kind of simplify the defense, you kind of simplify some of the coverages, you simplify some of the pass rushes or whatever it may be. It got to be there. But at times, it just looked like schematically, effort wise, they just never gelled. We just never looked like we wanted to get back into the game. Like it just didn't. Like even the sack on Lamar, the sack on Josh Allen just didn't look like, all right, man, okay, he really got off the ball then. It was more of like, hey, he held onto the ball a little too long, and then all right, this is how we got our sack. We got a cover sack. Ooh, whippy do. Great job. So for me, we got to get after their quarterback, Joe Flacco, as early and as often as possible. The next thing, blocking has to be significantly better, because I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen. This is exactly what's gonna happen. Rather than Myles Garrett staying on one side, Myles Garrett is gonna move around. They're going to put guys on the outside of Myles Garrett, walk up a linebacker, and they want to draw one of the guards. They want to get one of the guards close as possible to where Myles Garrett can shoot that particular gap. And he's just going to stab. He's going to stab the guy that's right in front of him, basically, and he's just cut underneath as much as he can, because he knows that particular guard is going to vacate or either not be looking for that inside move. And I just feel like, again, right then and there, that spells bad for us, because if we allow Myles Garrett to get constant penetration against our particular offensive line, he is the player that can wreck our particular game plan when it comes down to what we want to do with Lamar, what we want to do with Henry. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, he can single-handedly do it, but we have seen it done before. Case in point, Max Crosby. Max Crosby wrecked our entire offensive game plan, and it just felt bad. So again, we don't want to see that again, because now we're talking the Ravens going down 0-2. If the Ravens go down 0-2 and we got an early bye, this does not look good at all, especially another AFC loss. You get another AFC loss, again, coming to playoff seeding time, we talking, hey, we may not win the division. We talking if we do not win the division, we may be the 6th seed or the 7th seed, depending on how everybody else does. So again, there's a lot riding on this particular game. We got to come out and play like we pissed off, like we really gave a game away to the Buffalo Bills. Or if we feel like, hey, the Bills took one away from us, then we should be mad because somebody came in, so we went to somebody's place and they took something away from us. So again, if you're saying these type of things, like you're pissed off or you want a revenge game or whatever it may be, then all right, let's put it on the field. Let's see what it looks like. Because if not, it's just a bunch of talking, and that's what it is. And I don't want to do a bunch of talking back and forth. I want to go out on the field and basically say, hey, look, we know what we did wrong. We knew where our faults were, and now we work through those particular faults. We're better for it, and now we're going to go get after what we need to get after for these next 6 or 7 weeks. I would love if the Ravens could win out until the bye week, and then after the bye week, continue on doing what they're doing. Some people said the Ravens will do it. I would love to see it. But until then, I'm kind of skeptical about, hey, where we are defensively and what we're going to put together for a game plan to stop certain team offenses. Because right now, if I'm an offense, I'm thinking, hey, look, man, I'm trying to get all my highlights against the Ravens passing wise, because if the Ravens not going to defend well on the back end, they're not going to generate pass rush. Absolutely, man. It should be pitch and catch all night long. And to me, giving up 500 yards, almost 500 yards offense to the Bills is just crazy to me. Crazy. It's still crazy to me. I don't care what anybody say. It's still crazy to me. They got 28 more plays than we had. That's nuts. That is nuts to think about, right? But it is what it is. On to Cleveland. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and pop out of here. I just want to come on here, give you guys my thoughts about the game and what happened and whatnot. And then I'll see you guys in the next one. So I'll hang out here for about 2 minutes. If you guys got any questions, feel free to type them or send them where you're watching. If you don't have any questions, we'll see you guys in the next one. Before you leave, though, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me if the video was good, if it was bad, or whatever it may be, and then we'll go from there. All right, cool. All right, hey, again, thank you guys for all the love and support. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.